Texas Realtors. I'm Marvin Jolly, your 2021 Texas Realtors Chairman. It's my honor to thank you for participating in Realtor Day at the Texas Capitol. In years past, thousands of realtors from across the state would converge at the Texas Capitol to meet with legislators and discuss issues important to real estate. Well, we can't do things the same way this year, but going virtual provides an incredible opportunity for even more realtors to meet with our elected officials. In fact, Texas Realtors adapted quickly and have hosted dozens of virtual meetings and events with elected officials over the past year. That member participation is a critical part of our association's advocacy efforts. Our governmental affairs staff can talk with lawmakers and their staff all day, but your words as an actual constituent will always mean more. Bottom line, legislators want to hear from the people who elected them, you. Thank you for taking the time to advocate for our profession, for our clients, and frankly, for everyone who has an interest in Texas real estate. The goal of this opening session is to help prepare you for successful meetings with legislators and their staff. Because even in this environment, realtor advocacy has never stopped. Local associations conducted hundreds of candidate interviews to determine who deserved realtor support leading up to the 2020 elections. Then, realtors came out in full force to elect those candidates who support Texas real estate. Your meetings with legislators during the session are the next step in our advocacy process, and we want you to be prepared. Next, you'll hear from a few other Texas realtor leaders who will cover important information to help you prepare for a successful Realtor Day at the Texas Capitol. They'll cover what you can expect in your meetings and offer some best practices for virtual meetings with legislators. They'll also explain how our association determines its legislative priorities and show you where to find helpful resources. One last thing, we encourage you to promote your Realtor Day meetings with legislators on your social media. Use the hashtag Realtor Day on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to show your networks what realtor advocacy in action looks like. Thank you again for participating. Our association's 100-year legacy of strong advocacy continues due to each and every one of you. Now, get ready to get engaged.
Thank you, Marvin. I'm Jeff Varnell, your 2021 chairman of the Political Involvement Committee. Let's talk about the logistics of your virtual Realtor Day at the Texas Capitol meetings. Texas Realtors Government Affairs staff is scheduling appointments with all 181 members of the Texas legislature. That's 31 senators and 150 representatives. These meetings will happen virtually via Zoom. You'll have an appointment with your state senator and one with your state representative based on where you live. First, you need to RSVP for these meetings at texasrealestate.com/realtorday. Submit your RSVP and you'll be notified of when the meeting day and time are confirmed. Be sure to RSVP for both your state senators meeting and your state representatives meeting. You must RSVP to be notified once the meeting is scheduled and to receive the Zoom meeting link. Meeting times and dates will be based on the legislator's schedule, and you can expect each meeting to be about 15 minutes. The legislative session is ramping up, so we're grateful that our elected officials can take any amount of time to meet with the realtors and discuss our priority issues. Each state senator and state representative has a designated realtor legislative contact team. Each team has a team leader who will run the meeting. These are realtors from the actual legislator's home district who are constituents just like you. In fact, many were appointed to these roles because they have a long-standing relationship with their designated legislator. The team leaders are responsible for relaying the realtor message to the legislator, but all realtors in the district are welcome to attend. Now that you know how to attend, let's cover the best practices for meeting with lawmakers.
Hello, realtors. I'm J.R. Martinez, 2021 Vice Chairman of the Political Involvement Committee. Let's discuss some do's and don'ts for meeting with elected officials that can be applied in your virtual Realtor Day meetings. First, a few basics. Please keep yourself muted during the meeting. If you have a question, put it in the chat or Q&A window or wait until you're called on to speak. Be mindful of your real or virtual background. This is a professional meeting after all. A member of Texas Realtor staff will be on every meeting to help with tech issues and answer any logistical questions if needed. Next, let's talk timing. This is an incredibly busy time during the legislative session. Legislatures and their staff are in committee meetings, convening in their respective chambers and following bills through the legislative process. And we are grateful that they make time to meet with realtors from back home, even if it's only for a few minutes. So we ask for your patience and flexibility as meetings are scheduled. It's possible that a meeting may need to be rescheduled or another time or day. If this happens, realtors who have RSVP'd will be notified by email of the new information. And once you're in a meeting with the legislator or their staff, always remain polite and have a helpful approach. Many lawmakers have said they look to realtors for information about real estate issues and the local impact of proposed legislation. Key contacts will do most of the talking, but if you have an opportunity to ask questions, please stick to the topics and talking points the association has given you. We've taken great care to ensure you get the latest, most relevant information possible. Never challenge the lawmaker or staff into combative discussion. If there is a difference of opinion, politely agree to disagree. We work hard to educate lawmakers on our positions. If a legislature has a differing opinion, be sure to share with your governmental affairs staff so they can follow up and learn more. There's one more thing I'd like to point out. This is a very busy time for legislatures, and you may end up meeting someone on their staff instead. This is okay. Their staff are extremely knowledgeable, and lawmakers rely heavily on their staff to keep them up to date. You can share with them what you would like the legislature to know. Finally, if you're a key contact, be sure to complete the reporting form to tell us how your meeting went. Next, you'll hear about how the association determines its legislative priorities based on member input. Thanks again for participating. You're making a tremendous impact.
Hello, Realtors. I'm Jeff Kahn, 2021 Chairman of the Public Policy Oversight Committee. On behalf of the Public Policy Oversight Committee and the Issues Committees, I thank you for participating in the Realtor Day at the Texas Capitol. I'd like to explain how the association determined the legislative priorities for this session. This member-driven process begins with 4 public policy issues committees that focus on business issues, infrastructure, land use, and taxation. These committees meet in the years between legislative sessions, also known as the interim years, to research issues and meet with some of the top policy experts in the state. We listened to their insights, then applied our practical experiences and drafted policy recommendations to guide the association through the legislative session. If you're on one of these committees, thank you. Your work puts us ahead of the game even before the session starts and makes us the envy of every other group at the Texas Capitol. I'd also like to give special thanks to last year's chairman of the Public Policy Oversight Committee, Kaki Libbert. Kaki oversaw these committee meetings and moved policy recommendations through a long, arduous process, and you'll see her efforts pay off as you meet with lawmakers. Thanks to the Public Policy Oversight Committee's hard work and executive board approval, we produced an extensive list of legislative priorities for the 87th Texas Legislature. You can see the entire list at texasrealestate.com/issues. Once the association's priorities are set, the legislative management team takes over. This group of realtor leaders follows specific legislation, makes final decisions about our association's positions during the session, and helps the association respond as new issues arise. There are usually thousands of bills filed, and our association reviews every single one. We're also following almost half of the bills filed because of their potential to directly or indirectly affect private property rights or the real estate industry. Our goal is to ensure Texas remains a great place to buy, sell, or lease real estate and a great place for us to do business. Your presence in this meeting makes a huge difference. So again, thank you for taking the time to participate. And now that you know how we set the legislative priorities you'll be discussing, let's talk about some other useful resources.
Hello, Realtors. I'm Mario Arriaga, 2021 Vice Chairman of the Public Policy Oversight Committee. Let's discuss several resources available to help you have a great Realtor Day experience. First, always remember that the best place to go for all things related to Realtor Day is texasrealestate.com/Realtor Day. We've compiled several helpful resources there to make your legislative meetings as productive as possible. Let's walk through them now. One of the most important components of the Realtor Day webpage is the option to RSVP for meetings with your state senator and state representative. Just complete your info and submit. You'll receive a notification once the meeting time and date are set. But remember, these meetings are up to the legislator's schedule, so it's important to be flexible. You can also save the date for the closing session on April 9th that will help us wrap up this incredible month of Realtor advocacy. We also have several resources about each legislator and his or her district from texasrealestate.com/Realtor Day. Click on Realtor Day portal, then select your respective legislator by their chamber and their name or district number. Each legislator's page lists their lead Realtor contact, their key staff members, which committees they serve on, and very important, how many Realtors are in their district. You can also find a 2020 housing report for their district, a link to their biography, and a map of their district. And for the key contacts, we'll have custom talking points for each legislator. We hope these resources in this opening session have helped prepare you to have productive meeting with your legislators. Thank you so much for participating. Have a great time and know that what you're doing has a tremendous impact.
Hello, Texas Realtors. I'm Julia Parento, your Director of Public Policy. As our association leaders mentioned, thousands of bills have been filed by members of the Texas Legislature this session, and I'm here to tell you about the priority issues that have been identified for Realtors to discuss during your meetings with your elected officials. But first, I want to remind you of two things. Number one, things change quickly at the Texas Capitol, and the best source for up-to-date information, including talking points, is the Realtor Day portal at texasrealestate.com/Realtor Day. And second, the designated lead contact for each senator or representative is expected to lead your meeting and will have the latest information. If you are not a lead contact, we encourage you to attend the meetings and hear what your elected officials have to say. Now, let's discuss the priority issues lead contacts will be discussing with your legislators. Number one, broadband access. Texas Realtors supports increasing reliable and affordable broadband internet access for all Texans. The COVID-19 pandemic has only reinforced how important this access is for our state's success. Number two, civil liability reform. We support ensuring that small business owners, like Realtors, can continue to provide their essential services during times of crisis. Number three, removing discriminatory racial covenants in real estate deeds. We support providing a simple option for property owners to redact racially based covenants from their real estate deeds. Number four, bringing balance to homeowners associations. We support legislation that will ensure Texans have a clear understanding of their community's management structures and standard practices. And number five, as Texas Realtors, we know that it is critical to keep real estate moving as one of our state's economic drivers. Real estate continues to be a strong pillar in upholding the state's economy during recent crises, and it should not be harmed by any legislative or regulatory action. Finally, we want to acknowledge the hard work the legislature is putting into our Texas energy grid. We all know how important it is for Texans to have reliable, affordable utility services, and we hope no one will ever again have to deal with the system-wide malfunctions we had during our recent winter storm. The lead contacts will have the latest talking points to ensure these issues are discussed with legislators as time permits. I join with our Texas Realtors leaders in thanking you for participating in your Realtor Day at the Texas Capitol. You're truly demonstrating advocacy in action.